Welcome back. This is our new build, the first episode of what is going to be, I think, one of our most ambitious and potentially coolest builds that we've ever done. So right behind me, you will see the vehicle in question. So we've finished the Falcon now, that's gone. The Corvette, as I've said, that's gone. And it means we're able to concentrate on this, which I've had for a couple of months and been desperate to start work on it, but wanted to get those other stuff done so we could give it all of our love and attention. So this is a 1969 Ford F100, but it's one with a bit of a difference because currently it's set at a normal ride height, but this is on air ride. And again, it's an unfinished project. So what we need to do is to kind of dig around what's been done already. We've got some question marks around the air ride. I don't know a huge amount about air ride, so we're going to learn along the way. We need to make sure that all works correctly. And then interestingly as well, under the hood, there is a 350 small block Chevy as well. Currently, we don't really know what state it's in, so we're going to need to be getting that running, making sure it's a good engine. Going to need to go through the fuel system and all that good stuff to make sure it runs as well as it looks. I think it's already a super cool looking truck. It's quite different from the Falcon project because we're not going to be having to do any bodywork and paint because I really like the way it looks. This is going to be very much a mechanical fabrication project, and one, like I said, I really can't wait to get stuck into. So let me show you around the vehicle and we'll start talking about what we're going to do. So I've moved the truck over to my ramp. We managed to get it lifted up by sort of just hooking up the compressor to battery, lifting up the suspension and moving it, but it's gone down a bit again. So definitely needs some investigation there. As I say, I think this project will be a couple of phases. Firstly, like I say, going through the air ride and making sure that all works correctly. And then secondly, getting it running and doing all the electrics and all that kind of stuff. But I always believe it's best to start a project with the hardest bit first, which, given my lack of experience in air ride, is going to be the air ride. So I'm going to do that first. So yeah, my plan is to clear the bed of all the stuff that's in it currently. I've been using it as storage, as you do when you tend to have a truck in your unit. And then I'm going to use the ramp, hook it up to the bed and lift it off the truck, and then I can then move the truck back into this workspace here, where I can start then investigating what the deal is and start making a plan of getting it working. So yeah, all very new and exciting, and yeah, really raring to go. that's the bed clear, barring some leaves, which I will deal with another time. Oh, and a Red Bull can, not mine. So you can see the tank and the compressor just kind of sat here. So we'll try and work out where to mount them. The fuel tank is behind the seats there, which makes me think there's probably going to be space under here, because they often had second fuel tanks, or sometimes they just had the fuel tanks underneath the bed. So I don't know whether that's something people do. Let me know in the comments, because it seems like a logical way of keeping the bed as clear as possible. So through here, there is some wires. This, I think, is a pressure sensor that's supposed to go on the tank. Currently, it doesn't fill the tank up automatically, and I assume that's because this pressure sensor is missing and not connected. Again, if you know, in the comments, please. It's got a Viair compressor, which is very crudely wired, so I can just pull that off. But I need to disconnect this line so that I can poke them all through the bed and get all this stuff out, so I can then lift the bed off. So I'm hoping, I think there's a drain under here to drain the tank. So I'm going to do that, because I don't know how much air there is in there, or how much pressure it's under. So I'm hoping it doesn't blow my hand off. So yeah, I'm going to drain that, pull that pipe out, and get those out of the way, so I can then lift the bed off, and we can have a little bit of a look about what's going on underneath there. So yeah. All right, you might hear a hissing, and God, look how low this thing goes. It truly does drop to the floor. So I just undid that valve there, and it's just slowly releasing all the air. Gives you a picture as to how low this thing is. Literally sitting on the floor, which is mental. You'll notice the front corner there is still up, and that is because the bag down there has got split in it. And so it's just been sort of a bolt has been stuck in it to hold it up at a ride height. So it's very much on the wonk now. So I want to get this off, this out the way. I'm then probably going to have to put some air back in it to lift it back up and push it back, because I can't see it moving in this aired out state. But God, I can't tell you how low this thing is. Look how the bed is sitting as well. So yeah, definitely some investigation needed here. All right, so the bed is clear, the tank is clear, the compressor's out. The Red Bull can's still there. That'll be there for the whole build, I think. And this doesn't look at all janky, does it? So I've basically hooked the bed up to the ramp with some ratchet straps, and I'm going to see if I can lift it off. So wish me luck. So we left a slightly forlorn looking Tom there, wondering why the bed wouldn't go any higher when I put it on the lift. And that's just because it reached the maximum level of its travel, and I'm basically stupid. And of course, if you have straps up there, it's only going to go up so high. So what I had to do instead is wait until the day after New Year's Day, basically. So that was the day before New Year's Eve, and then I had a 2-day New Year celebration. And then my good friends Dan and Bill came over, and basically we manhandled the bed off where it was and carried it and moved it to the side and took it off ourselves. I did actually film that, but what happened, well, I tried to film it, and what I actually done is press photo on the camera, and I took a still photo of basically nothing. I'm not quite Steven Spielberg yet with my filming. That will come. So yeah, we lifted the bed off, and then what I had to do is reconnect to the air system, repressurize it, lift the ride height up again, and then we were able to then push it into my workspace, and I was then able to then appraise what we needed to do, which is coming next. Okay, so we have got the bed off after some struggle and had a good opportunity to appraise what we need to do, really. So air-wise, it seems okay. When it's bottomed out, it's too low, really. The bed was literally hitting the floor. And I know that's super cool and everything, but if you, for some reason, lose air, then you are going to be knackered. So we are going to make some adjustments. We're going to explore putting either bump stops, or I would prefer a shock in there, just because it has quite a lot of travel. So if we can put shocks into these and weld up these mounts a bit better, then it gives us hopefully a bit of a better ride. I think we are going to put some, well, the wheels suck anyway, so we're going to put some probably slightly bigger wheels on. I think that will help the angle of travel. And like I say, it's so low, I think we can afford to lose or add a little bit of height without losing the kind of cool aired out look. Like I said, I'd rather it be usable than be super low. Moving round, the interior I'm really happy with, love it. So it'll just be a case of cleaning that out, making sure everything works electrics wise. Things like the height levers are all broken, so we need to fix those. Find a way of mounting the air tank. I'm probably going to do it on the side of the chassis. I favour not being able to see it. I know some people like to see it, but it's not my jam. Around here, like I say, it's got a 350 in it, so I think probably the next video will be getting that running, making sure that works, do a compression test, make sure we're happy with that before we go any further. I'm going to need to fabricate tubs for these. I'd like that to be closed in properly. Again, once we've made a decision on wheels and tyres, they're kind of tucked here, which is a very VW thing, but I think I'm going to want to come out a little bit and come a little bit bigger. This airbag is broken, so I'm going to need to replace that. So I need to pull that out, find out what bag it is. And yeah, and then it'll just be a case of making it, putting it all back together, getting all the electrics working and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is what, like I say, a really cool project. Going to be learning a lot about air suspension, those kind of things. I'll paint the chassis and make it all absolutely perfect underneath, and hopefully, yeah, create a really cool truck for someone. So yeah, so that's what the project looks like. Obviously this is quite an involved process, and I think I can kind of break down the jobs that we need to do into different sections. The first one, as I say, being the suspension, and that's the kind of thing that I want to crack on with first of all, I suppose. The first thing I need to do is to replace the front airbag, which is broken. Obviously then I can pressurize the whole system because it currently has a giant air leak. I need to install a pressure sensor onto the air tank, which currently it doesn't have, and that will mean that the system will know how much pressure to put into the tank, and it will shut off the compressor and turn it on as and when it needs to do those things. I need to go around and fix all the broken height sensors. They're all broken all the way around. I've managed to find those and order those already. I need to check the suspension bushing, so I've already started digging into that, and you can kind of see already there's a lot of play in this upper control arm from the rear. With air suspension, what you want to do is make sure the components are in as good condition as possible. Obviously, with the movements you're putting it under, it's going to put the whole system under extra pressure, so we need to make sure it is all tip-top all the way around. I need to mount the air tank and the compressor somewhere sensible. Currently I'm thinking underneath the bed, so it's hidden away. I need to do a bit of research to see if that's possible, because I don't know if that's something that people always do. Again, let me know in the comments what you think. I need to go around and set all the height settings. So once everything's back up and running, we can set the upper and lower limits on the suspension and see how it sits. And we can then look at wheel and tyre options, because like I say, the wheels on this currently suck, so we want to replace those anyway. And then I guess once we've given it a bit of a test drive and see how it handles, I'll explore either putting bump stops at the rear or putting shocks at the rear. So one or the other, depending on how well it drives once everything's back up and together. So that is suspension. So the next bit will be what goes on in here, really. As I say, it's got a 350 small block Chevy in it. We don't know the condition of it, so we need to see if it runs, basically. So we need to check the condition of that. We can compression test to see that it's all good compression wise. The fuel system we'll need to go through. Currently that's disconnected and I'm not sure why, so I'll check the condition of the tank. The carburetor I need to investigate to see if it's good. We'll either potentially have to rebuild that or put a new one on. I'd like to go through the cooling system, obviously make sure that it's completely empty at the moment, so I don't know if it holds coolant. And obviously all the electrical components in there as well. Basically we need to make sure it runs and runs well. The small block Chevy is a great engine and it will push this thing along just nicely, so we need to make sure it's all in good condition over here as well. And in addition to those things, we obviously have the general stuff you have to do when working on the car. Make sure the brakes work, make sure the lights work, indicators, windscreen wipers, all of those things. And that's especially prevalent because this vehicle hasn't been registered in this country yet, so I'm going to have to get it MOT'd and registered, so to make sure it's on the road, and it will of course be historic, tax and MOT free once we've done that. So a huge project, and I really hope you're as excited about how it goes as I am. I can't wait to get cracking, and I can't wait to share that with you on this channel. Obviously, as I've said before, this is a business, and currently the Falcon is still for sale, so if you're interested in that, do let me know. So I'm having to be kind of careful with money and how much I spend on parts and stuff until that has sold, and that will relieve a little bit of pressure. But ultimately, what we're trying to create here is something of a show truck. The ceiling price on an F100 is actually pretty high. These are pretty hot at the moment, especially this era, especially this shape. Add into the mix that it's on air ride, add into the mix that it's going to be really cool patina look, and I'm going to make sure it all looks great underneath, paint the chassis and all that kind of stuff. We want this to be a tip-top vehicle. Currently it owes me about £9,000, so I'm into it £9,000. I think potentially a sale price will be in the region of 15k, so I have to be really careful about how much money I spend, and that means of course that I will be doing all or at least most of the work myself to keep the costs low, to mean that I can sell it at a price that will sell in what is quite a difficult market at the moment. What I've found with the Falcon is I've had a huge amount of interest. I've had 2 people view it and basically express their desire to buy the vehicle, but they both have vehicles for sale themselves. At the moment in the UK, the market seems a bit locked. People have got vehicles that they want to sell and they're looking to buy, but until something catalyzes that and gets things moving, then everything's just kind of locked solid at the moment. So I need to be very, very careful about money. I still need to pay rent. I still need to survive with this as my only income. So a bit of a nerve-wracking few months, and hopefully as the weather improves and people start using their cars again, we'll start to see some movement. So please do follow me along on this journey. It's been brilliant, and it's great to start 2025 with real hope and expectation for what we're going to achieve this year. As I've said before, the YouTube channel's massively surpassed my expectations. Really, for me, it was just supposed to be a record of the vehicles that I've had and the work that I've done, because as I say, I've been doing this for about a year now, and I literally forget about some of the cars I've had. So it's nice to kind of have a record for myself, and also then to share with potential new owners what's been done, and that's worked really well with the Falcon. So thank you so much for following along and engaging. Your input, your questions, your suggestions, I go through every single message and I respond to all of them. I'm desperate to kind of hit that target of having 1,000 subscribers. We've just ticked over 700, and I have set myself a goal for 2025 of getting over that 1,000 mark and continuing to put out videos every single week. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, you know, I sucks to bang along about this, but please do subscribe. It means the world to me, and let's see if we can create a super cool truck.